Hello, nerds! Thank you for watching Generally Nerdy. This is your Week in Nerdom Comic Books edition for the week of October 1st, 2018. This week we have some updates on comic books. We have a new book that I didn't know was coming, but I'm kind of intrigued by, Heroes in Crisis. We have updates on Stranger Things. We have so much stuff is going on. Let's hit that intro.
Quiet on the set. Rolling.
Hi, I am Bitsy Telek.
Hey, I'm Hale Appleman.
I'm Walter Kane.
I'm Rene Aubergenois. Odo on Deep Space Nine.
Michael Dorn, Lieutenant Commander Worf, Star Trek The Next Generation.
Come and see me and hear me and talk to me and listen to me talk about myself.
Hey man, this is Kevin Smith, often considered generally nerdy, and you are listening to what is often considered generally nerdy.
On Generally Nerdy.
You're listening to
Generally Nerdy.
Generally Nerdy.
Generally nerdy.
First on the list, before we hit the news, I have to let you know, because again, I'm pretty sure people who watch these episodes only watch the one a week that they're interested in. Comic books, movie news, whatever. Primarily, people watch just one of them, so we're going to be doing this news update for all of them, and that is, I have been approached to do some reviews over at the Big Show Entertainment Network. Link in the description to their stuff, so you can go check it out if you're unfamiliar. But they've asked me to do review for both Fantastic Beasts sequel, which is The Crimes of Grindelwald, as well as Aquaman in December. So stay tuned for more on that as updates come down the line. I will definitely pass them off to you guys. But until that happens, we're going to talk about the news. And first thing in the news, we have Heroes in Crisis. I didn't know this book was coming. We've talked about this in the past. I'm not as up on comic books as I need to be, and I'm trying to fix that problem, but there's only so much time in a week. So unfortunately, I'm still a little behind. But I did get the skinny on this book. I did read it and the things and the stuff. So basically, this is continuing from the state of the DC universe as after the end of the Bruce Wayne or Batman and Catwoman wedding that didn't actually happen. So Booster Gold, who we saw at the end of that story go a little crazy, is still pretty crazy. Now the book it kind of falls flat in a lot of areas, but there's still intrigue in the premise, in what they're setting up for. Did Booster Gold, and before I say this, spoiler alert, if you haven't read this and you want to, go forward a few minutes and you won't spoil this comic. Heroes in Crisis, though, they killed off Wally West and Dick Grayson, which intrigues me. They put a lot of work into building Wally back up into the spotlight with Rebirth, being as he's a second Flash in this universe, right? So they put all this work into him, and now they've killed him off, so it doesn't make sense. Also, Dick Grayson, I feel like they killed him off because they didn't know what to do with him anymore. Before Rebirth, he had his own book where he was no longer Nightwing. But then with Rebirth, he was Nightwing again and was no longer the spy, and it was kind of like, let's kill him off. But so that, and then the other intriguing bit about this book that you get to eventually is who killed all of these heroes. Was it in fact Booster, who it kind of looks like everything's leaning towards because of his mental state? Or was it Harley? They are the only two that saw whatever happened happen. And then kind of lived to tell about it. But Harley hasn't always been exactly the most stand-up person in this universe, as we know. But Booster has, but now Booster's gotten a little crazy because of going back in time and like blowing his mind and things. So just very intriguing. Again, the book itself is not one of the best DC books to start up recently or in existence. But the intrigue has me wanting to go into the next issue, which I believe it's a monthly publication, so we still got a couple weeks before that happens. So let's kick on to the next bit of news, which is the update on Stranger Things. Stranger Things number 1 has come out, and it feels really inconsequential. I mean, it's really interesting, don't get me wrong. It's interesting to see what happened to Will on the other side of things when he was in the Upside Down. But it feels like whatever happens in this story is not going to have any real effect on season 3 of the show that it comes from. So this is just kind of universe building, which I generally am a big fan of, and this is not really an exception. I just feel like it because it's not really going anywhere, there's less motivation to read it. Does that make sense? Because we already know how it ends, we're just filling in some gaps. Books like this haven't been the best stuff in the past when it comes to companion books. Like the Buffy books didn't get really great until Buffy got canceled, and that was our only source of new Buffy material. So I feel like this might suffer from that same kind of syndrome. And I mean, book 2 hasn't come out yet. There's still a few books left in the arc that they have planned. I believe it was an 8-book arc, so there's plenty of room for it to get better. So far, though, it's just good. And that's all we got. So next on the list is Doomsday Clock number 7. And the people don't care. It's been 2 months, a little over 2 months, I believe, and it hit. We got the reveal that Dr. Manhattan is likely going to fight Superman somehow, and that should be news, but it's not. So we also got a little bit of an update as to why Ozymandias is doing the things that he's doing, but still, there's a whole lot of there's other more interesting things happening in DC. And again, this should be super interesting, but you go so long between books, you feel like you're missing something when you read the new book. And then you go back and read the other books, and it's like, oh, I'm not missing anything. It's just anticlimactic. Gonna finish the story because we're 7 books in of a 12-book arc, and you kind of have to because it's so universe encompassing. But it's kind of begrudgingly at this point. So hopefully in 2 months when we get book 8, it will be fantastic and amazing and pick up where we started at the beginning of this with some more intrigue, or at least some better freaking action, something else to pull you in and hold you there instead of I really don't know what they can do at this point. So we're just gonna move on. And next and last is an update to Batman White Knight. Sean Gordon Murphy, the writer and artist for the White Knight series, has announced his next book, and it's called Curse of the White Knight. We really don't know a whole lot. We got some cover art, and the one thing we really do know is that Jack Napier is still not the Joker, and Azrael is the villain? I'm very intrigued to see what happens in this book. The synopsis says something along the lines of the White Knight of Gotham now has to ally himself with... What was it? Has to ally himself with unexpected allies. It's redundant. I'm not quoting directly. In order to fight off Azrael. So... after White Knight, Sean Gordon Murphy can do whatever he wants, and I'm probably going to read it. But that is where we're ending this week's comic books episode, guys. What did I miss? What should we talk about next week? Let me know in the comments down low. If, though, you want to go deeper into the conversation, jump over to the website generallynerdy.net. That is the place that you can get all of the freebies. You can find the social media links, the store links for your very own nerdy swag. All of that is up on generallynerdy.net. Or if you want to support the channel a little more directly, there's a Patreon page, patreon.com/generallynerdy. That is a place to go. More content finds its way up on the Patreon than it does here on the YouTube or over on the SoundCloud or any other place. Everything goes up on the Patreon, so check out patreon.com/generallynerdy. bottom tier is just $1. For that dollar, you get so much more content. So go check it out. Again, patreon.com/generallynerdy. If, though, you are new to this channel, click the subscribe button. If you like this episode, click the like button. If you're falling behind on your nerd news and you want to catch up, click or tap that box right there to the left of my face to do that. But before you do, always remember, guys, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.